Double R FloTown. We've got the Floyd men back. Just got back from a big trip. We're getting an update. They brought a buddy. Guys, thanks for coming back.
Sure thing.
Everybody, after your last episode, everybody was like, whoa, that was interesting. And I feel like we covered a lot of topics, but this time we can kind of drill down and nail into exactly what's going on over there.
Yeah, so we have Matt and Madison Floyd and your good friend Jonasz from Warsaw, Poland. That's correct?
That's right, very much.
And you've been in the States for about 4 days now.
Yep.
You come in and spent some time in Charleston, and now you've come to the big city of Florence.
Is this your first time in the States?
Oh no, I come here every year. Actually, my sister used to live in Anderson. So that's how I got to know these guys from South Carolina. Very exciting to be here this week to celebrate 250th anniversary.
That's awesome.
In the land of freedom.
That's a baby compared to Poland.
We took him to see.
That's true.
We took him to see the game last night at Southern Hops, so we were up there watching USC Bosnia.
Yeah. That was good.
We were just cheering. Really mad about that red card, though.
Yeah.
That was
Awful.
Our guys are
Not
looking
right.
good.
Yep.
Our guys are good.
Yeah.
So, Madison, you've been studying in Poland, and we talked last time when you guys were on the podcast about the efforts that you are undertaking with your foundation to help the effort in Ukraine, as well as your experience as a student in Poland, which is so close to Ukraine. So just kind of bring us up to date. You've been on a trip recently over there, Matt, and obviously, Madison, you've been living there. So just kind of bring us up to date.
Well, Madison's getting ready to graduate from college.
Oh,
I didn't
really?
tell you that.
September. No way.
Congratulations.
Dang, that went by quick.
Yeah.
Very quick 3 years.
That's awesome.
Kinda
But
sad.
you're going to stay over there.
For a little while, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Cool. That's good.
Well, you need to practice your Polish. You just passed your Polish language exam.
Yeah, I think I'm resting on my laurels right now because I passed the B1 level exam.
Oh, wow.
I can speak pretty well, I'd say. What do you
That's
think?
awesome.
Yeah, more or less.
You can understand him when he's talking?
Oh yeah, yesterday I called my little brother, he's also a student, and they conversed in Polish.
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't have grammar, Madison, I mean, but there's good communication. I mean, his vocabulary is very good.
It's interesting because they do things so much differently over there than we do here. Your bachelor's program is 3 years, and in order to graduate from there, you have to be B1 proficient in the language, and you have to pass an oral test and a written test, and you have to write a thesis like you would getting a doctorate here.
Wow.
So that's why he's finished all of his classes, but he has to go back in September to defend his thesis.
Oh, wow.
Which is on the topic of Ukraine's policies.
Yeah.
What's it about?
Sort of like how Ukraine was shaped by nationalist movements. And my thesis is basically that the far-right movements in Ukraine that everybody's always saying, you know, they're Nazis, what have you, didn't really have a real big impact on Ukraine itself.
Yeah.
Very minor. And I proved this with data, basically the voting data, polling data, and they were just very unpopular and still are. But it was very simple to disprove, but it took me about 70 pages of writing to draw it all out completely. But I just thought that'd be a useful use of my thesis work.
We need to get him appointed as an ambassador. U.S. ambassador.
Might be a potential for his future.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what's the latest? You know, I feel like a lot of people here just aren't. We've kind of moved on to Iran. Everybody's thinking about that now. And what's going on over there? Where are we at with the struggle between Ukraine and Russia?
Big question.
Yeah.
That's a big, I mean, it really depends on who you ask. We all have our own different opinions about where things stand. I just know a lot of soldiers. I talk to them, and it's kind of like living and breathing this side of things, less humanitarian, more military.
Yeah.
So that, to me, I guess, is very present in my mind. I would say Ukraine's performing really well.
Really?
And I'm very much a pessimist. You can ask him.
Yeah.
I'm super pessimistic about everything, but right now they are
At least he's
performing.
honest.
Yeah.
They're really, let's say, kicking some butt in the whole field. Russia is still advancing pretty much everywhere, but the pace is just glacial. It's less than a snail, literally, if you mapped it out. It's slower than a snail.
Wow.
And Ukraine's just really hammering oil infrastructure and this sort of thing, which is really something that they weren't able to do before. And as of right now, Russia's just really not able to stop it.
Wow.
No.
Is Russia still continuing their effort to try and advance? I mean, or is there a possibility of a ceasefire, or Russia saying, okay, we're going to take our wounds, go home, and come back another day?
Well, there's a lot of talk now about a potential mobilization in Russia that may happen after summer vacation, right? October. So they really don't. I mean, it's been 4 years. They lost a lot of men. And it is for them to protect their own name. Russian government in front of the Russian citizens.
Yeah.
But I think the men fighting for Russia, a lot of them don't want to be out there.
You are right.
We just read this weekend that it's 35 minutes the lifespan once they're on the fields.
Once they hit the front line, 35-minute lifespan.
What?
Not day.
Average.
35 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
But what happens if
Isn't
a
that hard to
Russian? What
even
happens if
imagine?
a Russian soldier decides they don't want to fight that day?
They die.
They die.
They have backing units behind the lines. If anybody comes back to retreat, and they just kill them.
They kill them.
That's
They
their
kill
own soldiers.
themselves.
The
Yeah.
definition
Or
of
that. Definitely.
damned if you do or damned if you don't, right?
Right.
It's kind of, let's not say sad. I don't want to feel bad for them necessarily, but it is definitely pathetic to see it just such a waste of life in that way. Like, even if you really want to surrender, there's no good way to do it.
Right.
No good way.
The best hope that they have is that some hospitable Ukrainians will pick them up.
Wow.
Really.
They have a better life than they did in Russia, sitting in the Ukrainian prison.
And so you were telling us that in Ukraine, I mean, people are living their life. They're out eating and out and about. It's not like they're still hunkered down.
Well, it obviously has a tremendous impact on, I think there's a lot of PTSD. There's a lot of stress and anxiety when you're walking down the street with your daughter and you hear a loud buzzing. I can only imagine that, but they're not going to leave because it's their country, and they just have to go on about life. So we were in what was it, a Crimean restaurant? The type of food that we ate. Some of the best foods on this planet,
So
by the
good.
way. It is unbelievable. But yeah, it was packed. You know, and we can see Kyiv from where we're at. And it was just people everywhere,
At the same time, there are air raids every day. Even now, Madison, you've got an app, right, on your phone, and it buzzes several times a day. So there are air raids several times a day in Ukraine, but ordinary people, they need to move forward, right? It's a new life that they got used to. It's been 4 years.
I mean, 3 million people still live in Kyiv. Last night there was an attack, a big one. 21 people died. They just hit the city in just different apartment blocks. And I was also there. Sorry to interrupt. I went further east. So I went with my girlfriend to Sumy, this east city in the east. It was very, let's say, the locals would say it's noisy.
Yeah.
Meaning that you can hear things all day, fire or interceptions. One time I was eating dinner with her family and we walked outside of their little garden and we just saw a drone interception. The drone just came down and blew up on the ground.
I mean, that's literally so foreign to most of us who will be listening to this podcast as Americans to understand warfare going on above your head and you somehow trying to keep some level of normalcy in your life. How you mentioned, Jonasz, to Madison an app that maybe buzzes or something. What is that? Do you get notified that these strikes are coming?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend were staying in the Kyiv area and Kyiv gets hit a lot for different, the Russians are trying to basically force the people to force their government essentially to change or to make them feel completely unsafe or just to kill people. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, and there's this app for Kyiv region that basically it says there's a jet in the air headed towards Kyiv. They drop these glide bombs and the bombs just fly, or there's a drone in the air, or there's 500 drones, and it just buzzes. It's sort of like if you've ever had an emergency contact on your iPhone, even if you have your phone on Do Not Disturb, it zzz, real loud. It does that every time, and it's like, go to the shelter, basically. When we were there, we stayed in a hotel on the outskirts of the city, and we even had a shelter there.
Oh, every hotel
Yeah.
has a shelter.
Has a shelter.
Every school is required to have a shelter.
Yeah.
When you check into the hotels, regardless of where you are, they tell you where the shelter is and to go to it if you hear an air alarm.
But to be honest, not many people use them anymore.
Yeah.
It's even because they got used to this constant sense or that your life may be interrupted. So that's why many Ukrainians left Ukraine, because you can imagine the damage it makes just on your sense of the security.
Yeah.
So those people that couldn't handle it, many of them left Ukraine. In Poland, there's 1.5 million Ukrainian refugees. In other European countries, altogether 20% of all Ukrainians left.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. I can go to Ukraine, spend there several days, but I wouldn't like my phone to be buzzing all day and just worrying if I survive it until the next day.
So you guys can just cross the border pretty easily? No. Or like, what? Yeah.
It takes a while.
Does it? Okay.
They don't get mad at us necessarily. They're not really suspicious of us, but the lines are long.
It's very. If you stroll up to the border and there's 40 cars in front of you, you're going to sit there for 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a slow, tedious process.
Yeah.
But people do move to Ukraine and back. It's summertime, so they go to visit their families for a weekend. They just having their lives in Poland. They just still have their babushkas.
Yeah.
And they want to visit them
yeah.
and have the best tomatoes you would ever have. Yeah. In Ukraine.
Amen. Those are the best.
That's true.
tomatoes. Yeah.
Tomatoes?
So
So good.
I mean, any vegetables and fruits. The soil
the
there
rich
is.
soil
Oh,
that
yeah,
you have.
Exactly.
So when you eat a tomato here, are you like, oh God, this
That's how I feel.
That's how I feel.
I don't
Yeah.
eat tomatoes. Here.
I eat a little cherry tomatoes like they're grapes over there.
Yeah.
It tastes totally.
It's like a totally different taste.
Yeah, and cucumbers, any of the fruits. It's he and I were having a conversation as we were driving through Ukraine. I was losing my mind over the different crops, and he was like, "What? Are you a farmer?" And I was like, "Well, kind of here and there. Kind of do some planting. I do some different stuff." Yeah, their wheat is taller, and their corn is taller. There's, you drive by a field and it has 10,000 acres of, sunflowers that are head high.
It's like
And
you
they're
said,
not
it's the
made-
soil.
It's just the most amazing soil. It'll
Wow.
grow anything. And Ukrainians are so interesting because as you drive through and you look into people's yards, everybody has turned their entire yard into a garden.
Okay.
And it's lined with fruit trees around the
Wow.
outside of the garden. So they have their plums, their apricots, apples, pears, and then in the middle of it will be just rows of
Vegetables.
cucumbers and tomatoes and everything you could think of.
Yeah.
Well, Ukraine was called a breadbasket of Soviet Union, and
Yeah.
many people believe that Putin is not only after its natural resources on the east, but also its soils that really feed
he needs
a
to
big part of Middle East and Northern Africa.
Yeah, he needs to feed his people, and Ukraine has soil that can do that. How does this come to an end? I mean, what is the end game?
You asked us that in the last podcast.
Yeah, I know.
I thought you
think
were
we
going
have
over there
any
to
better
end it.
answer.
Yeah. One thing that's dramatically different than the last podcast
Okay.
is through their own ingenuity, the Ukrainians have developed the ability to hit Moscow.
Oh,
And that has happened with these oil refineries. I don't know if you know, but one of them was 15 miles outside of Moscow. And there are videos that the Russian people took of these drones just flying over their heads. And these drones came from 800 miles away. How does that happen? They have developed all that, and they are really doing damage to the Russian infrastructure at this point.
okay.
I don't know if you guys have seen the videos, but people waiting in line for hours and miles to get to gas.
Oh, yeah.
They have
yeah.
huge
That is
shortages.
going on in many, many places in Russia. So now it's kind of come home to the Russian people where they understand, hey, these people can strike back.
And it seems like if there's an end, maybe it will be coming from the Russian people who will realize.
Oh, I'm
of
sure
the
they'd
cost.
love for it to come to an end. They just know they can't say anything.
Yeah, but
I don't
only
know.
but only in the last year really they started to experience the results of the war when Ukrainians started to strike Russian cities and refineries.
Yeah. Only when their bottom dollar is hurt do people tend to actually start caring about the actions of their government. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
I agree.
Are there any sanctions in place from the United States government that is affecting Russia? Is there anything that the United States is doing that's helpful?
Oh, they introducing sanctions every few months together with European countries. But Russia was very effectively
Evading.
introducing, other solutions. They made a lot of deals with China,
Yeah.
with Central Asia countries. But really now the strikes on their fuel industries, that's something that everyone
The
sees.
Ukrainians call their long-range drones and missiles sanctions. on
Kinetic
Russia.
sanctions.
Kinetic sanctions.
Kinetic sanctions.
That's the term.
So would
Yeah.
you say the Ukrainian drone capability is better than the Russian right now?
As it stands at this moment, yes.
Yes.
But it's always it's a war. You counter adapt,
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah,
the
yeah.
other team adapts. Russia has scale. Ukraine does not have scale
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
same extent. But Ukraine has ingenuity, which Russia doesn't so much have, because Russia is a kind of almost an authoritarian economy where innovation's not really allowed.
Right.
And Ukraine is kind of the opposite. They award even individuals that invent things on the front line. Nowadays, there's a bill that allows them to get about 20% of the profit from this new invention. So it really causes soldiers to, drink all the time
Yeah,
with
they're
things.
incentivized to. Wow.
On this trip, we learned that there's more 3D, in Ukraine, there's the most 3D printers in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe more in China.
Yeah.
But that's due to the production of drones.
drone
Wow.
parts.
And,
all different parts that they're adding to the drones, wires, this sort of
and the big part of it is that it's not only the government, military that is developing them, but it's really private institutions.
Yeah.
It's even small entrepreneurs. It's NGOs. Everyone can be involved in that industry in Ukraine.
I would have just thought Russia would have had bigger, better. We're still in the infancy of this drone thing. Can you guys imagine 20 years from now what warfare is going to look like?
I don't want to.
It's not going to be pretty. And there's already, we have drones now that are full planes that somebody's flying in a Connex in Nevada
Yeah.
that could go wipe out Lord knows what. It's amazing to me that Russia doesn't really have that, or maybe they hadn't.
Well, I think right now the challenge is how to make drones cheap.
Yeah.
I would say in that regard, the U.S. is not only not a leader, it's probably in last place.
Well, I saw an article just 2 days ago or so that the United States has hired 4 separate drone manufacturing companies in Ukraine for our U.S. Navy and
Wow.
Army for
And that
drone
may be a
superiority, where we are asking them for their help.
Wow.
Oh, Ukraine is a really military. What's the word, Madison? Help me.
Like a powerhouse.
yeah,
It's a
powerhouse.
giant-
Because
they
they,
really
have
are.
the ones that
They had to become that.
They
Yeah.
did.
They have combat experience. They know the modern tactics. They're years ahead of anyone else.
Yeah.
And
Russia is,
and-
unfortunately.
However, I feel like in many American minds, Russia is what it used to be 60, 70 years ago when they conquered together with Americans cosmos. And I don't feel like it's true anymore. Just think about it. Ukraine, 38 million people nation. I don't know how many times Russia is bigger. It's by population-wise, it's 4 or 5 times bigger.
Five times, I think.
And they've
4 to
been, and for 4 years, the front lines didn't really change much. Russia is not as great as many people think.
I would say they're kind of a disgrace to the former, let's say, Soviet glory of what they used to hold. It's even when we're comparing like battlefield successes, it's true the Russians have never really been defeated once they've entered the city in Ukraine, besides the initial invasion where they got their butts kicked. But since they've been grinding on, but if you look at a map of the cities they've taken, if you put it back to 2023, when they started advancing in the east, coming west, to where it is today, it's about 10 miles.
One of the most interesting things to me was we're in his van, and we're driving from one location to the other, and we're not far from Kyiv. And he says, "This is the famous airport." And I was like, "What are you talking about, the airport?" And apparently during the initial invasion, there's a bunch of Russian paratroopers dropped out of the sky.
At Hostomel Airport, near Irpin, near Kyiv.
Yeah. And everybody is aware in Ukraine, not necessarily in the United States, but the Russians didn't even have full magazines to fight with.
Wow.
They were expecting everybody just to throw up their hands and say, "We give up." And a third of those Russians that paratrooped in, they're dead.
Wow.
They got killed right there.
Wow.
And that was the VDV, the elite force that everybody's so aware of with the ribbons on their head.
Right, yeah.
That fought in Syria and everything, but they just weren't ready for the sort of combat that Ukraine would give them.
Wow.
It's amazing to actually be there.
Yeah.
And
I
to see.
bet.
You guys should come over. We'll
I
tour you
I
around.
tried. My wife wouldn't let me.
Wife said no.
Yeah.
But it was cool this time to go back. The pictures that I have of Irpin, which is kind of on their route to Kyiv, the Russians, it was just devastated. When I went over there 4 years ago, I mean, every building, bullet holes, missing the top floor, all the houses, and the government has rebuilt everything.
Wow.
Everything.
And private foundations.
And private foundation, that's right.
Yeah, everybody's over there. Yeah.
People are
we
investing
worked on
in
that as
Ukraine,
well.
You know,
Wow.
rebuilding it.
Wow. And we can't get a building built here now.
Well,
We don't have drones flying over.
Yeah.
Jonas, for you, I mean, you live in Warsaw, Poland. Obviously, Madison lives there as well as a student, but you've been there your whole life. How, from a geography standpoint, help people who may not understand geography, where is Warsaw in relation to the front lines, and how do the Polish people understand what's going on in this conflict?
Yeah, Poland has a direct border with Ukraine, and Warsaw is about 3-hour drive from the border. And however, my parents used to live just 20 minutes from the border in Ukraine.
Wow.
That's actually how I got involved in all of this.
Okay.
I'm a tax lawyer by education experience, and that's what I used to do. But 4 years ago, when the war in Ukraine started, I was visiting my parents for a weekend, and we felt that we need to do something. So together with our family members and friends, we just started receiving refugees that were calling my parents, some of their friends from Ukraine, that their family members, their friends are coming, and that's how it started.
His father was a pastor, and when we went over the first time, we went with him. He was our guide, and when we got there to the church, it was full of Ukrainian refugees that they just came across the border and they had nowhere to go, and they were taking them in.
Wow.
So when you say tell me more about your dad and him being a pastor. I'm interested in that.
Well, my dad is a pastor
Okay.
in Poland, and it's very unusual in Poland because Poland is predominantly Catholic.
Yeah.
But my parents became evangelical Christians,
Okay.
and I went to the seminary as well. The foundation I work is a NGO, non-profit of a Baptist church in Poland.
Really?
And so that's kind of my background. And
How long have your parents been Christian?
it's been 35 years, just 2 years before I was born.
Ah,
Interesting. So were there Christian missionaries that came that introduced?
No, it's actually, there used to be a Baptist movement in Poland
Okay.
before Second World War. And unfortunately, Second World War changed all of that. And during communism times, there were very limited opportunities to share gospel with others. So it is a very small community, just about 120 churches, congregations in all over Poland. So the church that my father pastored next to the border with Ukraine is a small church of just 60 people. But during the first 4 months of the war, in the church building, they received 5,000 Ukrainian refugees.
wow.
So it was huge operations that we were involved with. That was possible because of help of churches from all over the world, including America. That's how I got to know Matt and Madison as well.
And now we're like, we call each other big brother and little brother.
Yeah.
So we've
That
known
is-
each other for 4 years.
So what's day-to-day life like in Poland right now?
It's Poland is a nice country to be at because during my lifetime in the last 30 years I experienced a major economic growth.
Wow.
Our economy grew 7 times, and Poland, even though it's a post-communist country, it really is a part of a Western Europe now.
What spurred that growth, you think?
Joining the EU, among other things.
Yeah, and also our security is with NATO.
Yeah.
So being just a part of the Western world, that's
Just
what
cause
sparked.
things to
Exactly.
What did it? Was it birthed out of that post-communist government? So what type of government rules Poland now?
So it's
That's a complicated answer.
It's a very
It's-
tricky country, that's for sure.
well, it's we have our parliament.
Okay.
And it's governed by prime minister. We also have a president, but it's only just a representing figure. So it's Western democracy, and people are obviously free. They have. That's why in the past 5 years or so, we're seeing a lot of immigrants coming to Poland. But the biggest migrant groups are Ukrainians and Belarusians.
Yeah.
When was communism defeated in Poland?
It was 1989, so 37 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before the fall of the Soviet Union.
And now America's trying to move towards communism.
Yeah,
Well-
actually we are.
We are. I mean, there's certain cities
Yeah.
that are. voting
That's
for
why I
it.
get so frustrated at our administration when they say, just general blanket comments of Europe is stupid, and
They're
you've
doing
heard
it
him
all
say
wrong.
stuff like
Yeah.
that 100 times. Well, that's not the case
No.
at all. You
Not
go-
for all the countries.
Not for all the countries, and
Yeah,
Poland
yeah.
is one of them, and
Yeah.
Ukraine is one of them. They have their own version of government that is more Western than it is communist.
Yeah.
And having been communist, they are tooth and nail, never going back voluntarily.
And that also
Exactly.
applies to being part and parcel lumped in with Russia. If you look around the borders of Russia, you will notice that every single country besides maybe 2, China and Belarus, despise it.
Right.
Because it
And the Polish people, I think, generally, wouldn't you say, just there's an animosity towards Russia that's pretty substantial. Yeah, I tried to say that. I tried to say that the nicest way that I could.
For many Ukrainians, Poland is an example of where they can get if they make it. Wow. Because just for you to know, in 1990, so 36 years ago, Poland's economy was smaller than Ukraine. Polish people were poorer than Ukrainians on average. Now Ukraine has been the poorest country in Europe for years now. So for many people, it's really just this Polish dream that they would love to follow.
It's aspirational for them, the way that Poland joined the EU and NATO.
The Polish military is also extremely impressive. They have beefed up, obviously.
Yeah.
Madison and Jonasz both got to see their
F-35s.
F-35 upon delivery. They just got a few of them.
They did a flyover.
And it did a flyover Warsaw.
We thought the war was coming. We were scared. We were like, oh, God, it's the Russians. But I turned and I saw that wing shape. I was like, it's our
But
guys.
Polish people are extremely, a lot like Ukrainians, that they're extremely proud to be Polish and nationalistic, I think, and very
Patriotic.
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 Well,
yeah, that's the word I was.
What I hear y'all describing is a renaissance, really, in the last 27 years, being rescued, I would say, from communism and birthed into a more democratic government that allows freedom and economic growth. And you said the economy has grown 7 times over since then. It's a tremendous amount to be proud of, and it is an example for Ukraine and so much of Europe to see what has happened these last 27 years in Poland.
I'd say it's a golden age. I mean, I'm very proud to live there and inhabit this era where it feels like Warsaw's the place to be.
Do you feel like you've got more opportunity there right now than you would if you were here?
I can answer that definitely in the affirmative, because I was just talking to someone the other day. For a young person in their 20s, even though Warsaw's getting more expensive, definitely, the rent's getting pretty bad, but cost of living, not worrying about healthcare, my tuition, again, like I told you last time, is $3,000 a year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to worry about really anything. As a young person, besides Russia.
That is
more to that. You don't need to worry about your security. You can walk, be outside, even Warsaw City, even downtown, and be safe in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
There is no homelessness problem. There is no drug addiction problem. I mean, it's, my sister, she's single, she's 30, she lives in Warsaw downtown, and she's okay. She enjoys it very much.
It's really,
It's
really
a very
great
impressive
place.
city.
Wow.
When we went over there, I wasn't sure what to expect. You have just visions in your head.
Yeah.
I see pictures from the history books, and I'm thinking Warsaw. No,
It's very modernized
Oh,
now.
wow. There's probably 20, 30 scaffolds that I saw the last time.
Wow.
When I pulled in, just in the drive from the airport to my hotel, and they're all high rises.
Really?
Yeah, it's growing at an unbelievable rate.
What is the opinion of the Polish people of America today?
Well, America has always been considered, since Second World War, America was an aspiration place to be, and
city on
since
the hill.
the past 35 years, America has been considered the biggest ally of Polish people, of Poland, and it is still, and it still is. Just for you to know, any American president, Democrat or Republican, will be welcomed in Poland as a hero. Because we don't care about internal issues of the US. We see Americans as someone that will come to help us with whatever the future will bring, having neighbors that we have.
Do you see the news of these bigger cities that has a lot of homelessness, has a lot of crime, like the opposite of what you just explained Warsaw's like?
Well, of course, we get to hear, and many Polish people started traveling to the U.S. because now they can afford it. They weren't able to previously. 50, 70, 100 years ago, America was a place that you would emigrate to start your new life outside of Poland. Now it's a tourist destination.
Yeah.
And so people get to see it. And I have many friends who are just mesmerized by America, by people here, how free they are, how
The spirit.
the spirit. That's something that we admire very much. But of course, we get to hear about the problems that you guys are now facing. But I would say we still live with this very
Like an idealized picture of
Yeah.
I like to fill in his sentences.
Yeah, that's right.
He does that to me in
I'm
Polish.
sure he
so,
has to do that to you. a
Yeah,
lot.
I think Madison is an interesting case just because he's gotten to experience both.
Right.
Yeah.
So he is the person to ask when it comes to that. And yeah, he's 24 years old and looking at his future, and he's not stupid. He can do simple math. And by the time you run healthcare, insurance, car insurance, a car payment, rent costs, our 20-somethings are looking at a rough road of it.
Yeah.
The average salary being $39,000 when you graduate college, you can't live off that in this country anymore.
No.
And in Warsaw, he does not have half of those issues.
And my salary is less
He,
than that.
he does not have to have a car. He hasn't had one the entire time he's been in
So you
college.
take trains.
Yeah, trains,
Public
public
transportation's
transportation,
good.
walk, trains. Even the flights are cheap if you really.
The flights are significantly cheaper.
I mean, compared to American Airlines, I go, God, anything's pretty cheap.
He can hop over to France for $50, and we can't do.
Are we getting ripped off over
Yes.
here?
Well, hold up.
In
I
my
think that's
opinion.
pretty standard.
Robert and I debate this all the time in the office, and even last night, we were showing a property to two Indians who are from India. They own and operate some gas stations here in Florence and the surrounding area. And they said something to us, and then Robert and I again picked up this conversation on the way home from that show, and they said, there's opportunity on every corner in America.
That's true.
Now, again, these two Indians that we're talking to is not Polish individuals, but it was refreshing to hear them say that, because we often, Robert and I, and especially Robert, is negative on what we see going on in America and everything you just detailed, the cost of living compared to the wages. We have a major issue.
We do.
But there is opportunity.
And I agree with you.
It's not enough to go around. That's the problem.
America is the land of the free, the home of the brave. I love this country.
You grabbed it. I mean, you did it.
I love this country.
I love it
And
too. I still say
I
it.
love it too.
We're back.
No, just
We're hanging in there.
Calling everyone here.
But to listen to Ken Ard,
Yeah.
he articulates this wonderfully on the radio. The boomers took the money and ran, and they have, for the first time, handed their grandkids a poorer than them generation. Well, this is the first time in this country where these young people they can't make it. And from Madison's perspective, he's looking at that as a realist. Do I want to come live outside of Charleston and pay $50 to go to a nice meal, or he can go do the same thing for $10 in Warsaw? The cost of living is just cheaper.
Dramatically.
Right, dramatically. And we do have an issue that we need to address. And I don't know how to fix it. I got no idea. How do you counter the out of control inflation that we've
Yeah.
had, the increase in costs of goods sold, the increase at the grocery store.
You kick the
things
federal
that-
government in the butt. That's what
yeah,
you do.
I mean, you vote them all
If
out and
only it would
start
happen.
over. I don't know, but it is a problem that I wish that we
Yeah.
could come up with some solutions to. Because
And I hope
It's
the
scary.
solution's
Mm-hmm.
not.
It's scary.
I'm hoping the solution's not these 20-year-olds saying, because they see the road they're on and they can't buy a house, they can't do
that's why
anything.
we have Mom Donnie.
Exactly.
And we're going to keep having
And that's
that.
how they're voting.
Yes.
Well, they don't see any other I know
Yeah.
a few people who are moderate conservatives that voted for Mamdani just because they think that anything is better than status quo.
And he's a
They're-
great speaker. I mean, he's
Well,
you know,
but let's go
speeches.
full circle and back to our man Jonas, and he can give us a history lesson
Yeah.
on how that works out.
I just want to, because, it's been 250 years of America, and it's true for you guys, every next generation had a better life than previous one.
Right.
But this is not how it works in all of the history. Poland has been there for 1,050 years, so just slightly longer. and there were periods in our history of our state that we didn't have the state. For 123 years, Poland was departitioned between Russia, Prussia, and Austrian-Hungarian Empire. And, periods like that, I don't think will ever happen here in America.
Let's wait and see.
However, it's not like you're growing constantly. I am privileged currently to be in that good phase in Poland.
Right.
I hope Ukrainians are getting there too.
I hope so.
For me to be here, it's not like Poland is a land of milk and honey, that it's all great there. We are, still way behind you guys. But at least the spirit and the perspective that we have, we're quite optimistic about the future.
It's really interesting. We're 250 years. Ray Dalio, I'm sure you've seen his. You have the rise and fall of empires in kind of 250-year blocks of time.
I don't agree with that. I think that's a
I
really
hope he-
simple way to
I hope
gun
we-
it
I hope,
down.
yeah.
I don't
I
think
hope he's
mathematical
wrong.
process really fits these events. I think America's going to be here for a long time.
I do too. But
Oh, let it be.
Let it be.
Let it
Let it
be.
be indeed.
Let it
It's
be.
better than anybody else we got in the world to take
True.
over.
Right. I think you asked a question, though, earlier. How does this end, going
Yeah.
back to Ukraine? And some of what they were just saying, talking about spirit. I saw an article probably a week ago about Ukraine. It's not their drones. It's not their ingenuity. It's not their article went into 5 different things. Their ability to hit Moscow now. It's their people. It is the spirit of their people of we're not going to give up.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, and then with us, with a psychopath in Putin, he's not going to give up.
Right.
So I don't know.
We're not close to this war being over. That's what I'd say.
I don't think so.
But once ordinary people of Ukraine gave so much of their lives, their courage, their pain, they will be continuing this. Yeah. It's also, they experienced the past 30 years of that freedom that they will not give it away easily, if ever.
Actually, since we had a last podcast, I mentioned, I think on the last podcast about approval rating for continuing the war in Ukraine, it actually went up, not down, by about 3%. Not that big, but it's sizable.
Well, and as we're on the precipice of celebrating United States 250th year of independence, this conflict, this war between Russia and Ukraine reminds me a little bit of the revolution.
It very much does.
England, what became the United States, we had no business beating the world power of England.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I guess they weren't ruled by a madman, and he finally gave up. But it was the will of the colonies and the will of the people that revolutionized and beat back a far superior militaristically
Yeah.
So
That's
Yeah,
an
it's
interesting
very
parallel.
It's very intuitive of you to say that because you're overwhelmed as an American with that sentiment when you get
That
to Ukraine.
spirit.
That spirit of a bunch
Okay.
of farmers beat the King of England
Yeah.
and the world's most powerful military. Well, that's what's happening.
No,
Oh,
we
yeah.
could say about
It is
Irina
it
as
is
well.
the same thing. Yeah.
Our friends Irina and Dimko, they're a couple, a married couple. They were just IT jobs, and they were students when they started a company that we now work with that raised over $6 million for the Ukrainian drone units in the last 2 years.
Wow.
And they just decided they were just like, enough is enough. They started this on Twitter, of all places. And
And 20, she's his age.
yeah, she's 24, and
Wow.
her husband's 27, and her husband went to fight. He even left their organization to go fight. That's the spirit we're talking about. There's
Wow.
1,000 such stories.
There's thousands and thousands.
So
of
as
them.
Americans, it kind of energizes you when you go.
Oh, it does.
Oh, Ukrainians are living the story that Americans lived 250 years ago,
Yeah, right.
and similarly to that. How do you call the fathers of
Founding fathers.
Founding fathers. Similarly to them, Ukrainians now believe they have a right to decide about their own country, to protect their culture, and
Which
to
is
govern
very-
themselves.
Yeah, which their culture is extremely different, dramatically different than the Russian culture.
Oh, yeah.
There's two totally
They're very
opposite ends.
distinct. The myth has been for so long that they're very similar. They're like brother nations. But the more you study it, as I did for my thesis, tons and tons of research, it couldn't be further from this truth. I mean, I think it's like saying that we are British, but even stupider. It's more like saying we're Australians, let's say. Like our speech is kind of similar, but we would know nothing about living in that place, and they wouldn't know
Yeah.
anything about living here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just...
Ukrainians have had a taste of freedom, and they're not letting it.
They're not going
Yeah.
back.
No,
There you go.
They're not going back. And it's amazing to drive around the country because everywhere you go, there's some big Soviet block building where something terrible happened whenever they were occupied. So it's sitting there as a reminder to each of them of, we're not going back. there.
Wow.
Well, you know, Robert, I mean, the name of our podcast, Double R FloTown, typically we bring, events and people on to talk about Florence, but I think it's so appropriate and fitting to have you guys bring this experience to us and share what's going on in Ukraine and in the world and how, the Polish people are contributing and helping and assisting and just to get a cultured perspective of some of these events that are happening and how they do even affect Florence
Yeah.
and Americans, especially as we celebrate 250 years in this country this weekend. I can only imagine what if we ever make it to 1,050.
Yeah, yeah.
What that celebration will be like.
Yeah.
None of us will be around, but that'll be cool.
I appreciate you guys going and what you're doing. I mean, I think it's important when you're a blessed nation and we're blessed and other people are hurting in the world, we need to go help them. It's so easy to just sit back here and talk about all our problems, but you guys have done it. You didn't just sit in your comfort zone here. You've gone and helped, and I can just tell it's like changed your life, honestly, which is so cool. Thanks for all you guys are doing. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll get the live broadcast with you guys next time. Izzy Izzy thought we were doing live today. I'm like, no, they're here. He's like, oh God, okay.
Yeah, we
thanks."
made it back after a long journey.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll go back before too long. We enjoy getting over there. We made a lot of really, really good friends. I mean, he's one of them, but we've made some Ukrainian friends, and he gets to take us around. Like this previous trip, we met a lady who the war started. Her husband got drafted. He immediately got killed, and two small children. They had laid the foundation for their house, and here she is with, what does she do? And this trip, we got to go see her house. That these guys,
Together with these guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody was involved in it. We got to go walk through her house and actually see it and meet her children. And then it was just heart-wrenching because we get to, we leave her and we go into this park, and I had seen a picture of her husband on her mantle, and I saw his picture in the memorial park. It was one of the first ones that I saw, where they had all the deceased people.
It's a somber thing.
That's what we do when we're over there. We go and see, what we can do to kind of make a difference. And
that's amazing.
And if you guys or any of your listeners would like to join such trip, to see in their own eyes what can be done when we work together, be my guests.
Awesome.
I'll be very happy to host.
Come over to Warsaw.
And I hear the food's good, so that helps. That's enticing.
A lot of incentives to come visit.
Yes.
If only the gas for the planes will go down just a bit.
Yeah, that would be nice. I have been in 1998.
Oh, wow.
I went to Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Kyiv, and I was there for about 6 weeks. Not to Poland, obviously.
It's very similar.
But it was fascinating and beautiful, incredibly beautiful.
It's my favorite part of the world.
Especially Prague. I found
Prague is great.
Yeah.
Lviv would be a suggestion for you.
Did you go to Lviv?
I don't believe so.
It's right in that area. You just barely missed it. It's a great city, though.
City, 800,000 or 900,000 people
Nowadays, but it used to be less.
Yeah, and it's just old and architecturally just stunning, and the food is great. The people
And
are
it's
wonderful.
safe. It's safe.
And it's safe.
As safe as it can be.
As safe as it can be. Go there if you go to Ukraine. It's only,
safe. There's drones flying over you.
Only about 1 drone per month, so it's your odds are pretty good.
But we appreciate you letting us just kind of. We all feel like it's important to let people know what is going on, because it's kind of out of sight and out of mind if you're here.
Yeah.
And these people are. What you said was the best thing of the whole podcast. Is to them, it's the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, they're fighting for independence.
Absolutely, they are.
It's very much true.
That's amazing. Well, hopefully, we know you guys can take this video and put it in front of a whole different audience. So keep doing what you're doing, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.